the last week or so, all I've seen is people talking about this show. So I figured I'd check it out, and if I liked it enough, and if I thought it was interesting enough to talk about, I would do a review of it. And it was both of those things. So here we are. Tiger King: Murder, Mayhem, and Madness is a documentary series based on the life of Joseph Maldonado Passage, also known as Joe Exotic. And this is the story of how he opened up a zoo at first. He wanted to care for big cats, but he was constantly being accused by animal rights activists and a woman named Carol Baskin, who headed her own big cat reserve. And he might have been doing some shady stuff. And because of that, he was attacked from both sides. His personal life was a little affected by it, and his professional life was very affected by it. And eventually he made some really bad decisions, and the story got more insane from that point on. This documentary is one of those things you just need to see to believe. It's kind of hard to just hear it from a bunch of tabloids and say, okay, that was entertaining, I guess let's move on now. This story is insanity. It doesn't start that way though. When the first two episodes happened, I figured, oh, this is about a guy who is constantly being framed as something that he's not, and I guess there's nothing too crazy here. I mean, there's no charges against him. They've tried, but clearly it doesn't exactly fall into illegal. Oh, episode 3 onwards. Oh yeah. Right. Once the first two episodes are cleared, and once you've got the basic setup for this guy, and he starts to go into the other stories, and further things come up along the way that twist the narrative even further, this gets vastly engaging, and it turns into a very entertaining documentary to watch. It does do its best to keep every detail in there. Some things remain unresolved, which I thought was a little disappointing, like when you get to the story about Jeff Lowe and some of the stuff that he's pulled, and his partnership with Joe, and how things became worse after that. Certain things over there are sort of left aside. I think they could have explored that a little bit more. But aside from that, I was constantly interested in just how crazy this story got. The show also does a good job of painting various sides of Joe Exotic. There is the very bizarre version of him in professional terms, which is constantly attacking Carol Baskin and other people who are against him. And he does all sorts of crazy shit because of that. He was also a country singer, so he would normally make some videos, and he made a few videos about Carol Baskin.
Everything was fine, just as sweet as wine, but her husband went and disappeared. Here, kitty, kitty, oh, mama's got some treats for you. Oh, here, kitty, kitty.
Even writing a whole song and making accusations that Carol killed her husband and buried him in their reserve, which I guess has not gotten proven, but at the time of me recording this, they're planning on looking into that again. So I don't know exactly where that's gonna go. I feel like there'll be a to be continued part 2 somewhere down the line. As of this moment, Joe Exotic is in jail. He's serving 22 years because of the other 20 counts of animal abuse, killing that have been put against him, which is what happens later on in the season as you start to learn more and more about a lot of stuff that you've seen so far may not have been the right picture. And there are lots of people that Joe worked with along the years that start off very close to him, and as the documentary progresses, you see their relationship deteriorate, and it just gets worse and worse, to the point that when he is in court and someone is, he's looking for someone to be on his side, there's practically no one there. Neither is his ex-husband, which was actually kind of a devastating thing. They focus a lot of time on his personal life because of that, and you do get to see some sides of him that don't necessarily make you entirely sympathize with him. I mean, some cases you do, like when one of his husbands shoots himself, like that's messed up, and you do obviously feel terrible for him with that. But there are other moments where once you start to learn his relationship with other people, you realize he's made a lot of mistakes here. Actually, everybody in this show who is shown makes mistakes. There is no one out of this who comes out like, oh yeah, pristine, we're the perfect person. Everybody's made some mistakes in this. It could easily showcase this as a sensationalist piece of television, like, oh my god, they did something wrong too, dun dun dun. But As the interviewer says in the beginning, he's finding out about this because he didn't know he was going to be doing this. So he actually starts out doing this as, again, Joe's thing, and then it becomes something else. So it made it more interactive in a way to watch it. And it almost gave this very bizarre sense of you're discovering the story along with him. That's what makes the documentary work, in my opinion. It does have one major issue, though, which was it is sometimes a bit vaguely structured. There were certain things that come up, and they sort of place it weirdly. Like some scene will be in some episode, and it'll have no semblance on anything that's told next. But then it'll come up 2 episodes later that, oh yeah, here's that scene again. Now it makes sense in context, doesn't it? And it's like, not really, because if you didn't show that scene before, and if we went straight from there to this, we wouldn't have exactly been confused. In fact, some of the timeline stuff is a little vague because they showcase something and you're thinking, oh, but that already happened, didn't it? So why are we still upset about this? But then you find out a few episodes later that that's an incident that happened later on, and they showed it to you not in a chronological way. And that's fine at times when you're trying to make something more engaging and more twisted, but here it just seemed like it convoluted things because I was sort of lost for like 10-15 minutes of the next episode because I was like, wait, what was that all about then? Because that went nowhere. And then you realize only later on it has some semblance to what happened after that because it wasn't relevant up till that point. That was something that did bother me. Aside from that, though, Tiger King is a very engaging documentary. It's one that really needs to be seen. And it's something that is going to obviously still be developed a little bit more because of the news breaks recently because of it. In nothing else, it's one of those things where you just are probably gonna the internet's probably gonna meme this. There's gonna be so many jokes about this, especially with Joe Exotic's songs and stuff. Can't wait to see those. There are better documentaries out there, yes. This isn't like the best one ever, but it is definitely something that should be watched. I'm gonna give Tiger King a B+. So what did you guys think of Tiger King? Let me know in the comments below. I'm excited to hear what you guys thought of it too, and if you guys have any theories on all the stuff that happened. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Look forward to more reviews very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.